Welcome to week 87 of Cougs on Cougs. I am Jess. This is Mary. We are still doing this show despite the record of the football team.
Yes.
We are, your loyal, strong, and true Cougars. We will still be here every week.
Absolutely. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, dealing with sick kids last week, so glad to be back.
When it rains, it pours, right?
Yeah, good news at some point would be great.
Let's just go with our quote of the week.
All right.
This week it comes from Bart Starr, and we saw this on Twitter from a loyal, strong, and true fan. Papanatui Sitaki is his name. We don't know if there's any relation there.
Probably.
But he said, anyone can support a team that is winning. It takes no courage. But to stand behind a team, to defend a team when it is down and really needs you, that takes a lot of courage. I feel like we've had a lot of quotes saying that the team needs to have courage and take heart and stuff, but I like that this one was directed at the fans.
Yeah, which I think is true, because I think if you're a fan, especially on social media right now, that's supporting the team, you're probably getting ripped to shreds by everybody else. So,
I can say that confidently.
So those fans are few and far between. So have some courage, people.
Yeah, and I think both of us err on the more positive side, but it's getting difficult.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat the situation. It is bad. We haven't had good news from BYU Football for
weeks,
months, literally.
Yeah, months, pretty much. It's more like
it. So basically, it's hard to find anything really positive right now other than everybody's taking it hard. The players, the coaches, the fans. Don't turn on each other. No, things will get better.
Everyone's turning on each other. Can we talk about the
bad.
former players for a sec? Everyone just needs to step back, take a breath. I had hoped that events with Francis, events with Harvey had maybe helped us to realize that there's more going on than football, but
nope.
It's pretty volatile out there. So anyway, take courage. Have courage and be kind. Is that what they say in Cinderella?
That's
There's
right.
a bonus quote of the week.
Love it.
But seriously, come on, fans. We cannot make a difference on the field, but we can support our team if they really are our team, right?
That's right. Most of us aren't going anywhere. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna kind of contradict ourselves here.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, we definitely are doing our best to remain positive, but we're gonna go with coaching from the couch. Is it really much of a coaching from the couch? So we usually start with what went wrong. Not going to do it.
Yeah, we try to keep this show around 20 minutes, and
there's no time.
There's really, I don't know. I don't even know where to start or where to end, to be quite honest.
Yes, and as for what went right, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, right? There's that's your third quote of the week. There you go.
We're just, we have nothing to talk about now except to spew quotes, basically. But I think we'll bring back what went right when we win.
When we win.
So everybody pray really hard for a win on Saturday. Please.
So, since we're not talking about football, let's talk about basketball.
Let's talk about basketball.
Yes.
Basketball is undefeated right now, which is great. Because they haven't played any games this season.
Right.
But they will play a game this week. It won't count, but it'll be a chance to actually see them play.
It'll count. I know exhibition games don't count, but every year I still start with the hope that we're going to go undefeated, unblemished record, 0 losses, and that includes the exhibition game.
I kind of love exhibition games because they're relaxed.
Yeah.
You get to watch the team.
Yeah.
You're usually not worried about losing.
Yeah.
So it is.
Not usually.
I think they're fun.
I think this is a unique case. I actually really, this feels like a game. So if you haven't heard, we do have an exhibition game that we scheduled just last week with the University of New Mexico Lobos, who is one of our old Mountain West rivals.
Oh, man.
So that's fun to begin with. It's for charity, which is awesome. I think it'll be good for this team to really test them.
Yeah.
More than they're really going to get tested.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you go straight from your blue and white scrimmage, basically, to a fairly quality opponent in New Mexico.
2 days later.
They probably consider this a rivalry still.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
It's been a few years, but I bet they still do. So I think it'll be great to throw them in there right off the bat and see how they handle it.
So we're going to have actual basketball. Maybe we'll do coaching from the couch for basketball next week and not football.
That's a great
Unless
idea.
we win, and then we'll do football.
We'll do both. So we're going to talk about 3 things. We're going to do another 3 things segment, but this time it's going to be 3 things that we'll be watching for in these exhibition games coming up the next week or 2.
Yeah, we've got some unanswered questions heading into the season.
Definitely. So it has been a while from basketball. If you don't remember, I would say the season ended pretty I guess the season ended on a disappointing note last year.
Really, yeah.
2 blowout losses to end the season. So in the West Coast Conference Tournament and then at the beginning of the NIT. So
it was bad.
Yeah, so there are a lot of questions. I guess we'll jump into the first one.
Yeah.
I think this is the biggest one. So the first question we're wondering about is, what does this team look like without Eric Mika?
That's probably the biggest question.
That was a huge thing during the offseason, Eric Mika declaring for the NBA draft, not coming back to BYU. And so now what does this team look like now that you don't have a star big man like Eric Mika down low, who basically the whole offense ran through him last year?
It did.
So what does it look like this year? What do you think?
Personally, for me, this was a very, very, very big concern to me initially when Eric said he was leaving, but the more the offseason has progressed and the closer we get to the season, the less worried I actually get about it. Just seeing this team's chemistry, hearing some of the things going on at practice, seeing Yoli's improvement and commitment, hearing stuff about Dalton Nixon being back. Like, I don't think you can fill... you can't fill Eric Mika's shoes, but I think that we're going to be able to, shift our game in a way where we're all right without him.
Yeah, you basically shift back to playing through your guards again, which historically
has
been
our bread and butter.
Yep, and when you have guards like Nick Emery and TJ Haas and Elijah Bryant, yeah. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and I know we've mentioned this a few times, but how many times have you heard the words Lone Peak 3 this summer?
Oh, none.
None.
Hooray.
And I mean, yeah, I know we're both devastated to lose Eric, but I think that we both come to terms with it, and that we think you guys will too within a few games.
Yep, and hopefully they'll win some big games, and everyone will forgive Eric Mika, and it'll be fine. That's what I'm hoping.
Please bless. Okay, our second thing, always a question with the BYU Hoop squad. Has the defense improved? The defense always has a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah.
And now I think that tied to this question is our assistant coach, Heath Stroyer, who's supposed to be this guy who revolutionizes defense. So is he going to come in, and is it going to be, everything that he's supposed to deliver?
Yeah, I mean, remember Coach Stroyer is a guy that's not afraid to get in players' faces and get them to actually commit and to play good defense, which I think has probably been lacking on this particular staff before he came in. So I am interested to see it. I remember Coach Rose from his press conference talked about how they are going to be working really hard on limiting three-point attempts, and at least not just contesting them, but limiting them. Yeah, so that is very good to hear. It sounds like they're in the right place, because that was a huge problem last year.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything really schematically, if anything will be different or more consistent, because I know that it drives fans nuts that we don't really run a consistent defense, and we kind of just do whatever, whether it works or not. But we'll see. But I think I'm optimistic about everything because we haven't had any games yet, but I'm hopeful for the defense.
Isn't it a great place to be?
It is. I wish we were still there with football.
All right, and then the third question I have that we've discussed is, can this team consistently hit the three-point shot? That was another thing we struggled with a lot last year. There are some games when we were hitting it pretty well, but for the most part, it was a struggle from the line.
Yeah. So we were shooting, below 20% or in the 20% range for a lot of our games?
Yeah, it was bad, and you didn't really have any consistent shooters throughout the entire season.
No, you didn't.
Now, you have back this year Zach Celius, who has always been a three-point sharpshooter, so that'll be nice to have him back, and hopefully it sounds like his injury's fine and that he's shooting pretty well right now.
Usual, business as usual.
Nick Emery, TJ Haas, I expect to shoot a lot better this year.
Hopefully.
Elijah Bryant, hopefully, is back from an injury and will play better.
Yeah, we've heard he looks great.
And I think it's also possible you see some threes from some of our big guys.
From the big men.
So I'm hoping that will improve, that we'll see that right off the bat in that game against New Mexico.
So those are the three things that we're watching for. Tweet us anything that you're watching for. Moral of the story is we're real excited for basketball season. Starts this week, you guys.
Talk of the Town this week is a little bit short, but, there's always stuff going on.
Yeah, with the way the season's going, I don't think the football players are too happy and excited on social media. Speaking of which.
So this was funny. This is the BYU football truck broken down, which is an interesting metaphor for our season.
What did Criddle say? Criddle said, not surprised.
Not surprised.
Looks like it's on the way home from Greenville.
It's really at the point where, anything that can go wrong is going wrong.
It truly is that point. So you just have to laugh so you don't cry, right? That's where we're at. Speaking of everything going wrong, who is not injured on this team, I feel like is a better question than who is injured.
Oh, so sad.
I mean, you've got Tanner playing, and he keeps saying he keeps getting closer to 100%, but does he look like he's 100%?
He looked better in the fourth quarter.
He did, finally. But this one's about Troy Warner, who, gosh, I saw someone go down, saw the last name Warner, and you just sharpen, take a breath, no matter which one it is. It's not good for your defense. Troy hurt his foot. We saw a lot of different speculation on Twitter. Obviously, BYU is not going to disclose the exact injury. We just know it's his foot. We know he came out after halftime in street clothes and on crutches and in a boot. So Mitch Harper says 35 injured players. That's like a chunk of your team right there.
That's like if this was a basketball team, that's like your first 10 guys are hurt. Roughly.
Which leaves you with basically your scout team. Like, yeah. So is it that bad? Goodness. I mean, we still have, obviously, there's a little bit more depth there, but it was so funny because the CBS sports announcers were like, oh, they're fine with an injury at cornerback. They have tons of depth. And me and Jess are sitting there like, what? And then Coach Tuyaki today said that same thing. He's like, we're kind of in trouble at cornerback depth. And I was like, that's more like it. So, yeah. We are in trouble at cornerback depth.
We certainly are.
You're going to see Chris Wilcox get some playing time, but otherwise it's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah, it's very sad. I mean, and that is a huge part of why we have the record that we do, but there's just nothing you can do at this point. You just, next guy up, whoever's still left.
Yeah, and that's just, it's honestly commonplace at this point in the season with 35 guys injured. So that's a bummer. Yeah. Better news, and of course, pertaining to basketball. We don't have better news pertaining to football.
Sadly. So the Salt Lake City Stars, which is the G League team for Salt Lake City, released their roster, and guess who's on there? Yeah! LJ Rose is there.
I think he, tried out and made it.
Yeah,
I think
that's what acquired through local tryout. So, congrats to LJ. That's amazing.
That's huge.
Good work, dude.
I'm glad he's staying around.
Yeah,
hope he hangs around the basketball program.
Yeah, so good job, LJ.
Shout out.
It's exciting.
We wanted to share this last thing in the spirit of Halloween. So this tweet comes from Emily Lewis, who it appears is dating Matt Bushman. And, we are, we're not going to lie, we're kind of interested in that. So they have this huge pumpkin carving party, which is apparently an annual thing. And there are quite a few athletes making cameos in that. So Emily Lewis... it's on the volleyball team. Obviously, we got Matt on the football team. You see Yoli Childs and Dalton Nixon from the basketball team. Mm-hmm. We couldn't really identify anyone else.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell who else is in there.
But they look like athletes.
So. Yeah, they definitely do. So
Matt carved a Stegosaurus pumpkin.
Yeah, that's
kind of fun.
Love it. So at least they're having some fun.
Well, that's it for Talk of the Town. What do we got next? We've got a lot of things coming up.
Oh, thank the Lord.
Just seriously.
On Wednesday, 7 o'clock at the Marriott Center is Cougar tip-off.
Yes!
So your first chance to get a look at the basketball team. They'll be playing against themselves, but that's fine. Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Be there. I'll be there.
Yeah.
And then we've also got the exhibition game against New Mexico on Friday at 7:30 p.m. This is in New Mexico. Mm-hmm. So far, there's no
broadcast plans.
Yeah, there's no broadcast plans.
It's kind of a weird situation because it's only approved because it's for the hurricane relief, which puts it anyway. We haven't heard anything yet. That doesn't mean it won't be broadcast, but probably don't plan on it. From what the grumblings, the hashtag sources, I don't have any sources, but I heard that it will probably be on the radio. Don't quote me on that, but that's better than nothing. So we'll see. And then there is a football game. You guys.
There is a chance to win a football game.
Yes, 2 1-7 teams. Last week it was 2 1-6 teams. Yeah, I know, depressing. So, but it is home, and I've seen so much speculation on Twitter about the attendance. Don't be that fan. Be the fan who shows up. It's at 1 p.m., so it's a day game, which is kind of fun. Won't be super cold.
Mm-hmm. Should be a nice day in October. Good football weather.
Yeah. Wear navy if you're going. Show up and support the team. If you're not going... And your only excuse for not going is if you are out of range, is the game's on BYU TV and ESPN3. So check it out there.
Sponsor this week, Dirk Nowitzki. Thank you so much for trying to assist us in shutting down Kyle Collinsworth's new hairstyle because it is horrid.
He took the words right out of our mouth.
Yeah, he just said, change it ASAP.
Our second sponsor is this guy. What is his name? Kent Shepard who commented on our Vanquish the Foe recap. We did the game recap. I tried to put a little positive spin on it and ask for positive comments. We got one positive comment, which I kind of thought might be the case, but he said that he was just glad to be able to see the Cougars in person. He talked about how, it wasn't the greatest venue. It wasn't the greatest trip. We obviously didn't win, but he said he'd do it anytime they're within reasonable driving distance, that he'll be there regardless of their record.
True.
So, fans, be like Kent Shepard. May you always stay loyal to the white and blue. For Jess, I'm Mary. We'll see you next week.